3, 2, 1. And we're live. What's up, K96 Podcast? It's your host, Skinny Bones, Keezy, Christian. Either one of those names will suffice. So as you guys could already tell, it's not the regular setup. I'm not in the corner. Hey, got a first special guest.
Hey.
That was me drum rolling. I hope you guys could hear that. But let me introduce my best friend of like over a decade, man. That's over a little bit, not over half my life, not even close, but close. You guys know what I mean. Without further ado, welcome Daniel Arroyo. How are you, my man?
Pretty good. I'm happy to be here at the K96 podcast.
Gang, bruh. Absolutely. Thank you for being here again, man. I know I called you not too long ago to discuss, hey, man, come on the podcast. Let's talk a little bit about your life, what you do. And now we're here.
Yeah, excited.
Awesome. Yeah, right. I am too, brother. How was your 4th, man? I know that was the closest holiday we've had to us right now.
Yeah. It was Saturday, right?
Saturday, indeed.
Yeah. It was good. Elida is my fiance. Just ate some hamburgers, hot dogs, and that's basically it. We actually had some nachos too, but we didn't go anywhere. At night, I walked outside, and you could see a whole bunch of fireworks. I could look south, and I could see the fireworks in Stockton. I could look north, and I saw fireworks in Lodi. It was cool.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any dogs by any chance that
No.
are scared of stuff like that?
No. Fortunately.
Yeah, fortunately, man.
When I did have a dog, I had a dog named Crispy.
That's right.
Yeah. On 4th of July, it was probably 6-7 years ago, but he ran away on 4th of July, and he never came back. Yeah. On the 4th of July.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we went that rabbit hole real quick. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
That's okay.
But that is right. I didn't remember. I didn't remember that was the reason why he left, though. Yeah, dude. Well, as we all know, we got Chip. Oh, and someone I haven't introduced either is we got a new husky to the pack, Blue. Well, both dogs did terrible.
Oh yeah.
4th of July, man. It was like hell for those two dogs. I feel
Were they like barking or what were they doing?
See, it's not really Chip. Mm-hmm. Chip doesn't really get scared too much, but it was more Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And Chip just fed off his energy, so he saw, my big brother is scared, so let me be scared. Mm-hmm. So I gave him both 2 doses of Benadryl.
Oh, yeah?
To kind of like help them out, relax them, sedate them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Did absolutely nothing. Did absolutely nothing, man. Poor dogs. No, they don't bark. What they do is they cry. Mm-hmm. They cry and like they'll scratch and like they'll run around and just, it's like watching someone on an anxiety attack. They like freak out. They're freaking out. They can't control themselves.
Yeah.
We did the best we could. We put them in the shed out back. We kept them in there all night. We stayed there with them. I'm like, what you do for dogs, man? Like what you do for your pets, man. Yeah. It's insane. But I'm glad your 4th was good though, brother.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was good. I know one of our friends, Oscar, was lighting off fireworks, so I was like, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's the reason why your dogs suffer.
No, real talk. No, actually, he's not the only one to blame.
I know.
There was everyone here in town, and not only in town, but my neighbors.
Yeah.
We're lighting off fireworks, so I'm like, well...
Yeah.
Not a whole lot I could really do. I don't have enough Benadryl in this world to really sedate my dogs.
Yeah, it's crazy how fireworks affect dogs. Is it because they're very sensitive or something?
I can't even tell you, man. I was talking to Rachel about this, and we're both like, that's what we were thinking. We're like, oh, maybe because I think I've heard. I could be wrong. Someone can fact check me right now. But I think they have it's either 1,000 or 100 times better hearing than us. and 1,000 or 100 times better smelling.
Yeah.
They're like 100. They're like 100 times better than we are at smelling.
Yeah.
So like, imagine when we are in the bathroom doing our business. Imagine what they smell when they do their business. You know what I mean, I don't know, man. I'm like, maybe that's why they bury it. Some dogs bury their poop.
Yeah,
maybe it's just too strong. I don't know. But
it's interesting.
But hey, man, we all know we're in this COVID-19 thing going on right now. Are you quarantining? Other than, you know, obviously coming to do this podcast?
Well, I am. I'm trying to do my best.
Right.
But, like, I'm already, to a degree, a homebody, so it doesn't really affect me. It's just pretty interesting how all of this came to be. You know, a couple months back, we were hanging out with just our friends.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I was talking about coronavirus and this thing that's taking place, and it just, like, back then it seemed like something so small, and now here we are. I remember when it just affected one person up north in Eureka, and I thought, you know, everything was going to be fine, and I think a lot of people thought that too. Yeah. A lot of news outlets and things of that sort. But it didn't really affect me in my personal life. I go to school. I go to school in Western Seminary in Sacramento. We had like a weekend class in February, and the rest was online. So it didn't really affect me because, like, quarantine really got intense in March, late February. So it didn't affect me. I'm sure we'll talk about it later too, but we were planning to start a church, a church plant, and we wanted to do this in person, but we had to change things. We had to do things online instead of in person. So those are the areas that really changed school. I'm just doing online now. I'm not meeting in person, but I'm used to that. And church now online too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you kind of touched about it right now a little bit, but has it had a major impact in your life? Like anything that I'm like, all right, because of this specific COVID-19, I can't, me, Daniel Arroyo, can't do this now.
I mean, we don't play pool as often. Yeah. We used to go out and play pool. But nothing like no family member has been really affected by it that I know of. At least not directly, you know. Just it's unfortunate, like, not being able to see your grandma as often because you want to just protect her. But nothing that I could really think of that is severe or that intense. Just changing certain things, being flexible with school, with plans that we had, but nothing too detrimental.
Okay. So nothing in your personal life has had like impact? No,
my parents, they continued working. I was working as a sub, and yeah, but I was already, like, because I'm a full-time student, I wasn't going as often. I would only go like maybe once or twice a week. So yeah, and it was also like during this time when the break was here. It was coming, spring break, so I was already planning to not go to work. So, and then when it came, it was just an extended spring break. You know,
the longest spring break, man. You guys went on spring break and I ain't coming back until like summer of like 2025, man, by the looks of it.
Yeah, we don't know,
man. Knock on wood and all that stuff. Okay, so like nothing directly to your life,
No.
but like indirectly as such, like inconveniences of not being able to go out right to the bars and play pool, which is something that I do mention a lot on this.
Yeah, we do.
Going to bars and playing pool. It's one of our favorite things to do. You know, it's something. It's a healthy way to hang out with your friends.
Yeah,
And just
I
have some
think
company.
there's a healthy way of doing it.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like, y'all, we ain't out there getting drunk, belligerent, or smashing pool sticks on top of other people. Nah, fam. We out there just having, honestly, think we last had a mimosa when I was with you. Like some girly little, it's like a drink, you know, like a mixed drink. We're not out there, except today, you guys. Whiskey today.
Yeah, I'm not drinking.
Yeah, yo, this is how much love and dedication my man has to his lady and his principles. I offered him a brand new bottle of whiskey. I was like, hey man, I got a new bottle of whiskey. I just got it. You want some? Let's have a drink. He's like, I can't, man. I was like, well, he was like, I'm fasting. I'm doing intermittent fasting. By the way, how's that going?
Hey, it's going pretty well. We actually started yesterday.
Okay. So he just started, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's not something like to be proud of. Not yet.
Right, okay. Just
it's the
just
first
at the
time doing
beginning.
it. After a couple months, maybe.
But I mean, listen, you already turned me down. So like already off the second day, you're doing great already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So okay. What do you specifically do? Like before the COVID and right now?
So I think like the main way I would define at least my career-wise as a student, you know, that is my priority, and it has been my studies. It has been for a long time. It has been my priority for maybe 6 years. And the reason that I do prioritize my studies is that I really want to be good at what I believe I'm called to do, and that is just bringing good news, bringing a different message, and I want to do that well. I am a Christian. That's probably one of, if we are going to put label.
Oh, so you're talking about being a Christian, right?
Right. So that's probably the best way to define me. It is like the worldview that I have, but it's not the only thing that defines me. But it is a very significant part, especially with what I do and what I intend to do with life. So I really believe that, you know, I'm helping the souls of people, you know, and doctors, they go on to help the bodies of people, and I'm focusing on the soul, and I think that's an important job. So that's why I really got into my studies, just to make sure, you know, I'm being the best practitioner that I could be. So that's why I'm studying, and I do other jobs. I was a teacher at one point, 3rd and 4th grade teacher. It went well, but I was still going to school, and it was a lot doing both. Then I became a substitute teacher, and it went well too. You know, it just gave me some extra cash, and then because of quarantine, I did get another job, but it's just freelancing. So I just currently I'm like being a final reader of some Christian literature. So I enjoy doing that.
So like, what does that mean, being a finals reader? Like,
final reader? So there's an author who's writing, he's writing about deliverance from like spiritual oppression. And what I'm doing is I'm just reading, making sure it makes sense, the grammar is right, like it reflects the Bible accurately. And I'm actually reading the Spanish version too, so I'm making sure that the translation was correct. Yeah.
Oh dang! Right on, right on. And
yeah.
So you don't meet up with these people physically, but
No.
it's all online, right?
Yep. So I'm on this website called Upwork. It's like just a freelancing type of website, and I'm also leading, and I've alluded to it before, leading this team into launching a church plant here in Lodi, California. Mm-hmm.
Man, real good stuff. So, were you always interested in this work then? Like, since you can remember? Or is it something like, all right, one day I had an epiphany, and next thing I know, hey, I just saw someone that I wanted to help, like the way that felt, and therefore you did that, therefore after? Or is it just something maybe you were forced into? Or is it something you were more like, I had an awakening one day, and this is what I know my calling is going to be?
Yeah. I think you know, but the listeners don't know. So my family, they went to church, my parents, and I was raised in it until like I was 7 years old. That's how we probably had our first encounters.
Probably encounters.
Yeah, but my dad was cool with your uncles.
That's right.
That's how we had some sort of connection.
I'm pretty sure that's how we met you guys at church.
Yeah, but we grew closer in school later on. But later on, my parents and myself included just stopped going to church. And, I didn't know what I believed with God and things of that sort. I had some experiences with God, but I didn't know exactly what I believed. And as I got older, as an adolescent, we have to deal with certain things.
Absolutely.
We have to focus on what is the meaning of life? Like, what am I doing? You start asking these questions.
Oh man, it's gonna be real. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it was rough, and I felt like at one point I felt numb to a degree, and but fortunately, although I felt numb, I desired to help others, and it's something that was intrinsic within me, not as a spiritual church leader or Christian leader per se, but ever since I was a child, I always wanted to help. And I knew that doctors helped people, so I wanted to become a doctor when I was a child, a young boy. And then I grew, and I realized that other careers help people as well. Like I wanted to become a firefighter or a police officer or a doctor. Those are like the main three that help people. Yeah, help the community. So, but as I grew, I also realized that teachers help people and principals. So, and I realized, I'm not that bad in the area of education. So, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. But things started to happen in my family. My parents, they were constantly on the verge of getting a divorce. It was rough at home. It was rough. We had good friends during high school. Yeah,
we do.
But
we
still do. But there were challenging times. People don't know what happens at home, what happens with your relationship with other people. And while you have a good posse, and I thank God for that group, because you and all our friends, we were a great support group. But still, there were just these thoughts, that intrude your mind and things of that sort. And what happened within the family, it was rough. At one point, I had to call the police on my dad because of how things got. It was rough. Really, really rough. But fortunately, my parents, they remembered about the times when we used to go to church,
right.
And we returned. We went to a different church, however, and there we had an epiphany, a deep change within us. My dad, he asked for forgiveness with tears running
Right.
on his face, and I forgave him. And fortunately, my parents have reconciled, and it's not perfect, obviously, with them, but they're doing better, and it's a journey, and it's been a journey
great,
with
man.
me.
Right.
Yeah, after I started to begin to understand my relationship with Jesus, my relationship with God. I still had plenty of imperfections. I was immature.
Man, we all do, man. Brother. We all do, man. Whether you're a Christian or not, man, we're all human, brother.
Exactly. But I think, I used the excuse of Christianity a number of times to offend people, and I sincerely regret those moments. Although not all of it was bad. There were good moments. But I just want to make it clear, we're all on different journeys, and I found myself in that journey, and it wasn't straight up, just going up and down and things of that sort. But eventually, I got baptized. You were there, and I'm thankful you were present. And I started to realize, I really appreciate this Jesus thing and this Bible thing, and I'm good at teaching. I had the tendency to tutor people with math. I'm good at math too.
My man's ridiculously smart, man. Like AV. Listen, I didn't even say that, right? So you could obviously tell what classes I took. Didn't. How about the ones I didn't?
Yeah. Well, I think I became more studious after this encounter. I was naturally good in certain things, but I just didn't care back in the day.
He's being humble, you guys.
He's
being humble. Y'all don't even know how smart this guy is.
No.
But on that note, we are gonna take a small break, and we're back. You're, talking about being humble. You're a smart, intellectual guy since the day I met this guy, which was the first year in school we were together was, I want to say, 4th grade, Miss Doffenmeyer's class. It's probably that's where I probably got my taste in women now. But I think it's hilarious because I thought she was really pretty, but I was a little 4th grade creeper.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, you're being smart and studious.
Yeah. So I do enjoy learning, and I do enjoy teaching. So, I began studying the Bible, started going to formal schooling, went to Bible college, and then went to university. Got my bachelor's there, and currently I'm working on my master's. Should be done next year. But the purpose of all of this, it was a process, I wondered, should I just be a high school teacher, maybe at a private school, a Bible teacher at a high school, another private school, or should I be a university professor? And that's what I'm striving for right now. I'm trying my best and see how it works out. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. I could always rely going back as a high school teacher or something of that sort, but I'm trying my best to achieve that. And so far, it seems like it's possible. My studies, they're going well, but it is very competitive. When I say big words, sometimes I could, it's just hard with the feedback. But anyways.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. I know with the headphones, for those that have ever done a podcast or talked to people through a mic to headphones, dude, it's weird. Yeah. We were just talking about this during the break right now, how weird it's to hear yourself.
Yeah. But, hey, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is, cool. Though, it is. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a process. I didn't know when I was born that I was going to do this, get into the realm of teaching and specifically with the Bible. But I believe there were certain circumstances, events, things that led me to desire and accomplish this goal. And I also plan to help out churches, help out the body of Christ, the body of believers, with growing and with life. So maybe that's as a pastor. Currently, I am leading a church plant, as I alluded now 3 times.
No, you're okay.
Yeah.
We're going to get to it.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to get to it.
I know. But, I really care about the soul of a person. And I just want their souls to be healthy.
Fantastic, man. And you're doing what I want to say a lot lack to do, and it's just a very selfless thing to want to be able to help someone out and think of others, and then just think about yourself, which I feel like a lot of the majority of society, I guess you could say, and I'm referencing just society as the people that I interact with outside. A lot of people just don't care. A lot of people don't want to help people out. A lot of people what? The fuck? Like what does that matter, or this or that, right? So personally, man, I'm sure a lot of the listeners, and whether new or constant fans of the show, do appreciate, hey man, there's actual someone out here. There's people like you that actually want to help someone out, not just yourself or the benefit of yourself, but actually, I don't know, man, want to help people out, and that's really cool. And that's one of the reasons why I actually wanted to have you here too, is being able to share that. Hey man, there's people out here that still want to help and want to do things for the community. And as far as you seeing that change in your life, you said that was during your adolescence years, right? So your high school years, or more elementary, or what does that mean?
Probably so. I think the biggest catalyst was my baptism. Also, my parents going back to church and seeing them restored. Again, it's not that they're perfect right. But restoration was awesome. And those things really, changed and steered me in the right direction. This was probably when I was 15, 16, 17.
Teenager. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, right on. So something that we've touched on a little bit, but how have you seen yourself help people out, specifically, an example?
There's a lot of examples, and
I know you'd have a lot.
Yeah, but
or one that really sticks out to you, I really remember this one time where I helped so and so out.
Yeah,
not knowing that, hey, I could actually do that for someone. You know what I mean?
Right. I think there's people in our friend group that we have helped, but just not to go there. There's 2 incidents that I could think of. One time, I was doing this. I was going to different schools, giving talks and things of that sort, and that was awesome. But we stayed at this one house, and there was a couple there who they were already talking to a lawyer, trying to get a divorce, and I was given the opportunity to just share a couple thoughts, and I just shared basically what I shared with you concerning my parents, and I just told them, my parents were able to make it through, and the reason is that my mom loved my dad despite everything. And I remember one time my dad asked, why are you still here? And my mom just answered, because I love you. And I basically shared this story to them, and they just listened, and nothing happened then. But the next day, I heard that they were going to try to make things work out. And that means a lot, because, now they're within, a family is not being affected through this divorce. I'm not saying that all families are not affected by divorce, but most of the time,
you
right.
are going to, it's a big deal, especially when it comes to children and such like that.
Yeah, it is psychological, but for the most part, at least from what I've experienced, I don't know everybody's case. Anyways, right. And there are certain rough situations. But anyways, another instance was when I was volunteering at a hospital, and I would offer like spiritual care. And I remember like a mom just had a baby, and the baby came out dead. And I was called to go and help out in that situation. And it's just rough. What can you do to bring comfort? I think I went there. She's not fully there either, because she was probably,
yeah.
But I just went, and her family was there, and the only thing that I could do is, pray and bring comfort. And I don't know the result, but I'm thankful that I was there, that the hospital was able to offer some sort of care and comfort. And I did a small little part there, but that at least for me has stuck with me, being there and seeing the pain and doing the little that I could, and just bring some words of comfort. By God's grace, I was able to do that. So those are like two of the main things where I've seen where I really have contributed. Here's a lighthearted one.
Yeah, there you go, man. I was like, man, I feel like you just gave me a book out of like a chapter out of the Bible or something, dude. I'm like here at the K96 podcast, you're like, we're ready to cry over here, man. But lighthearted, brother.
Just teaching wise, okay. I was a math tutor for a little bit, and it was great. Yeah, I had a good time. I just remember I was finishing up my stay as a math tutor, and I received a letter from one of my students saying, in the beginning, I hated math, and I really didn't want to try in school anymore. And, being with you in all of these sessions that we have spent together, and learning and seeing how you are passionate about what you're teaching, the student said, I've gained this appreciation for math, and I want to graduate now, and things of that sort. And it meant a lot, because she was going to a charter school, and she was a senior with like freshman credits, and just being able to help out in that area means a lot.
Dang. And on that note, we're going to take a small break. Thank you. So, all right. So now we know some about you. We got some facts. We got a lot of stories, man. Some deep ones, some lighthearted ones. But now, do you have any future goals other than what you're doing right now, or that's perhaps involved with also what you're doing right now?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I want to be a professor, so my studies, that's something that I want to continue. I'm working on finishing my master's right now, and I should, once I'm done, I'm probably going to try to get into like getting a doctorate, and looking at some community colleges where I could teach. With a master's, you could typically teach at a community college, teach religion or something of that sort. And I look forward to getting married.
Yeah, game, brother.
I'm getting married next year with my fiance, Elida. We've been together for 6 years now. So
shout outs to Elida right there, man. I know you're all watching. She's probably watching this, right?
Yeah, she'll watch it.
Okay,
yeah.
right. Thank you, Elida, probably. For the view.
But yeah, we are getting married next year, 2021.
Right
and
congratulations, man.
Thank you. And as I've been saying, there's a group of us, maybe 6 people or so here in Lodi, who have decided to launch a church. And this has happened over... I've had thoughts about this for years, and people have told me that, you know, you're going to start a church. So it's not something that just happened suddenly, but yeah, people have been telling me, and I think this group, and including myself, we've been seeing a need for young people to really have a different perspective on life, see things in a different light, and that's what this church, it's called Encounter Church of Lodi, but we just call it Encounter Church of Lodi, just make it different, because
I got you.
Unfortunately, there are other Encounter churches.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get a unique name.
It is, man.
Yeah,
it is.
But that's why we put of Lodi.
Yeah.
But what it's about reaching the lost generation with the good news of Jesus, which is the news of hope, and just making students of the Bible, you know, understand God's word and God's will for their lives. So that's what I see in the future, launching this church. We, as I mentioned, we have started online because of COVID. Things have changed, but now we are meeting in person, practicing social distance protocol, and the church we're currently at allows us to do that with the room that they have. So yeah, we're having a service. I don't know when this video will be up, right, but we're having a service, July 12th, but which is this Sunday when we're recording this. But we officially have weekly services August 2nd, and they're at 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you guys know. And there will be, like, is there like a website for this or anything?
Yeah.
Currently, there will be. There is it?
Yeah. There, you could, like, the best way to follow us is
let us know.
Instagram. Just look up Encounter Church Lodi, and right there you'll get like announcements, updates.
Awesome.
You could also learn more about it. There's like a link on the bio that you could click on, and you could see exactly what we believe and what we do.
Right on.
Yeah. So.
And you said that's gonna be on Instagram. Well, I mean, like it's gonna be in the link description below, you guys. But it's on Instagram at Encounter Church of Lodi.
Just Lodi, no of Lodi.
Okay.
So
Encounter Church Lodi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there like any space or any stuff like that? All right. There you guys go. Hey, you guys, go follow. We'd appreciate that. That's Encounter Church Lodi Instagram. Is there a Facebook channel page or anything for it yet?
Yeah, you could look it up. Encounter
also
Church
that. On Facebook. Encounter Church Lodi.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys. So again, kind of like you already said, this isn't a new idea that you've had. This is something that you've been wanting to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like we touch a lot about it, but there's just the inspiration you kind of just had. You're like helping out the community that way.
Yeah, I think we go to churches, and you predominantly see older people, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like we're missing a big group, a big generation. And some people may say, you're pretty young for this, and I am to a degree, but I feel like our age makes it more likely that we are able to relate with people whom need to hear this message, Say I could wait 10 years or so, 35, but it's less likely that I relate with somebody who is 21
right now.
Yeah, right
now. We're currently
now.
Both 24 right now.
Right.
For those who don't know.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason why we're doing it right now, and we've considered maybe waiting because of COVID and things of that sort. But I think even during this time, people need to hear good news, especially during this.
I think a lot of people right now want to hear something other than COVID or riots or just anything negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so we really focus Encounter Church, where the name came from, is like, many of us know the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, right? Yeah. I just want to make sure I said everything. Okay, anyways. But there's a part saying, your kingdom come. Sometimes we think so much about the afterlife, and there's merit, and we should think about that. But in that prayer, we pray that the kingdom, that God's will, that the kingdom comes here on earth as it is in heaven. So there's this type of encounter taking place. And that's what Encounter Church is about heaven encountering earth. And how does that look like? I think it's a community that loves one another, cares for one another, and we're concerned about your afterlife, but we want to make sure that in this life we are doing God's will. We are promoting justice, promoting love, and things of that sort. So a lot of churches have done this, and I think there's a need to continue doing this.
That's a lot of dude, man. That's so much for the community that I feel you and you said it was a group of about 6 or 6. 5. Is it 6 including you or 5? However it is, you guys are making a big change,
including us. Yeah.
It's making a big change, and the church is currently open right now.
Yeah, so
it's currently open.
We're renting a church. If it's at 715 South Central Street, where we meet there once we start in August, we meet there every Sunday at 2. And
Every Sunday. You guys, and you said you started on August 2nd? Second, you said? And it's going to be once a week?
Once a week, yep. We're going to have, like, for those who feel safe, we're going to have some, like, small group, like if you want to chill at somebody's house and just eat, have a good time, talk about life, and care for one another.
Man, that's beautiful, man. Right on, brother. Right on. And is there anything you want to piggyback off of the new idea of making the new church? Like any or because I'm going to start this, now I want to do this. And if you do, let's talk about it after this pause or stop or whatever you guys want to call it. All right, and we're back. So, same question. Is there anything you would like to piggyback off of the new church? Any ideas, new ideas, concepts?
Yeah. Well, right now, we're just trying to achieve our mission of reaching the lost generation here in Lodi. That's our vision right now. We want to get our rhythm down, but we do have plans, to do more community outreach, see which nonprofits we could help and support. But we're focusing on the people that God has given us, and all while considering other people and seeing how we could bring good news to them. So we do, maybe we don't know, like, we do want to help missionaries, people who are in different nations, but we are really focusing on discipling. We don't want to forget about the people who are here. Sometimes we may get too big and we don't think about the people who are here. There's visions, dreams about getting buildings, getting other stuff and things of that sort. Like, I would love to be able to use the Sunset Theater on Lodi Avenue as a church building.
Man, that's pretty legit, brother. It's pretty legit, man.
Yeah, we have visions of those type, but right now we're just focusing on our identity, on who we are, how we're doing things, we're reflecting things, how we reflect. We're reflecting on the things that we do and seeing, is this what we want to do? Really finding our identity as Encounter Church. We also focus on giving people the opportunity to just show the talents that God has given them. We recently worked on a video called, well, it's not called anything yet, but if you go onto our Instagram and go to the link page,
let them know.
Yeah, you'll find YouTube there and click on it. And on Sunday, it'll be on Instagram as well. So there's a video. Landon, our friend, he led it and he did a wonderful job. Oscar was the main actor. You helped out with some footage with the drone. Good footage. And we want to be a church that enables people to use their gifts, their creativity, as just a way to bring a message. Within that video, it may be subtle, but there's a message. There's a human going to the garden and meeting with God. There's some allusion to the Garden of Eden and things of that sort, and then being with people and meeting with God. So that's what the video is about. But we focus on the people who are here, and we want to give them space to grow.
Right on, brother. Man, so what it just sounds like, man, is like you're out here, you're helping the community, like you're pulling your weight, and more than just your weight, to be honest. You're pulling a lot of weight right now, brother. And I know here the K96 podcast. We appreciate that. I appreciate that. I know everyone you're helping. You've helped prior to now, to today. I appreciate you and everything, brother. Because from growing up, having rough times, to having an awakening, to Rubik's cubing, trying to solve your life, man, to being like a religion major, correct?
Yeah.
To now here we are at 24 doing this podcast, man. You've done a lot through your life. A lot that I could actually vouch for. Again, you're my best friend, man, of over a decade now. And I'm proud of you. I know those that know you are your parents. I know your parents are, man. I don't speak to them too much anymore, but I know they're doing one hell of a job with you, man.
Yeah.
Since I can remember, brother. Dude, you're like the smartest friend, the tallest friend,
Yep.
and like just all around, man, a great person, brother.
Thank you.
And anything you want to mention? Anything else?
No.
Anything with the church? News
Just
coming up.
Well, the date, important to remember. If you do want to check us out, we'll be there this Sunday, which is July 12th at 2 at 715 South Central Street, right? Yeah, sure. South Central Street. And at the same spot, August, every Sunday, if you want to come check us out. And, you know, Christianity and what I believe in, it has a lot of different shades, a lot of nuanced positions, and, you know, I encourage you to study it. And there's other views that you could also study and check out, and they have their pros and cons and compare and contrast. But yeah, let me tell you why I've stuck with this worldview, and I like what C.S. Lewis said. He said something to the effect, you know, I believe in God as I believe in the sun, not because I could just look at it, but because by it I could see everything else.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that. So that, like, we could talk about, we could debate and things of that sort about historical pieces of evidence and things of that sort. But like what God has done in my life, and seeing the world through the lenses that God has given me, God being the sun, and I'm seeing life in a different shade. I'm seeing challenges, problems in a different way because of what God has done. I encourage you, see life, know that wherever you're at, there's a different way of seeing it. You don't have to be stuck in that way. And I'm not saying Christianity is the only way you could see life. There are different ways, but after my consideration and my study, you don't have to take my word or anything of that sort, but I just encourage you, try to look for a worldview. Of course, I'm going to propose the Christian worldview since I am one. But there's different ways of seeing life and dealing with pain. And the Christian one has worked for me, and I think it is the best worldview. But
beautiful. Again,
do your own research and make your own conclusions. I don't want you to believe because I told you. This guy on this video told me to watch. Tell me to believe.
This is the K96 podcast, man. Yeah. We don't hate. We don't discriminate. Right. We don't care what you are. Christian, Catholic, X-Men, Marvel, DC. I don't care, man. Boy, girl.
DC, Marvel.
I don't know. But hey, man. Love what you're doing. Appreciate what you're doing for the community, society in general, and a lot of the Instagram and Facebook will be linked in the description below, you guys. So please go check that out. Go holler at my brother, You guys know the dates. August 2nd. And every Sunday after that. At Encounter Church.
Encounter Church.
Can you give me the address one more time?
715.
715.
South Central.
South Central Street. Here in Lodi. This 95240. 209. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank
you
for having
guys
me.
for listening. Those for watching. Thank you for watching. And if you're new, like and subscribe. This is the K96 podcast. We're signing out. Peace.